of placement of funds, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
The Honorable Tom Joseph Francis Kajwang, MP for Waraka.
Mr. Speaker, sir, even though I do not intend to marshal 2/3 of the House to surmount rejection of this bill, I must, however, speak to the negative. I find the formula that has been used by the Commission to be fairly simplistic. I think 15 years of constitutional dispensation, we needed to appraise and understand what statistical method would best suit discussions about revenues shares. When you limit it to population and geographical and poverty index alone, a lot of other parameters, statistical parameters, may not be, may be left aside, which dovetail to production or development in a county. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise, after listening to the speakers before me, decry that why, for example, a capital city such as Nairobi be given such a huge amount in terms of revenue share. I want to come to defense of Nairobi, both because I come from Nairobi City, but because I also live and do business in Nairobi. Now, Nairobi is the apex. In terms of GDP, you develop places where factors of production are easily harnessed and easily developed to sustain a quick and robust changes into the GDP. Infrastructure, that is where you put your finest infrastructure, because the population is fairly industrial. The population is fairly active and productive. That is where thinking as a nation, not thinking as a sub-clan or as an entity, you must think of how to quickly develop your urban areas to bring for you the development you want. Mr. Speaker, I would expect that certain. Mr. Speaker, I thought I could get your attention on this. Mr. Speaker, I would expect such development parameters like development index, where other factors are considered like life expectancy, for example, like reproductive health, for example, like the fact that what are the factors of production that are in that county? What are the minerals are there? I wouldn't have a problem if Taita Taveta, for example, had some money because they need to produce those minerals they have there. I wouldn't mind if Turkana were given some more allocation because they needed to bring the oil that is suspected to be there. But if you simply disperse money because they are counties, because they have been defined in the Constitution, you may want to appease everybody, but you do not get into real development of a nation that result into an enhanced GDP. We must be thinking of a nation, although there is devolution, which then brings which then allows us to harness our rural folk, but we must be thinking as a nation. So even if, for example, Migori were to be the leaders in terms of springing us for GDP, take money in Migori and get Migori to give the country a shot towards Singapore. So in my view is that I think we need to have some intellectual discourse on these formulas. And I think we need to be patriotic as a nation more than we think we are small particles called the counties. And the last thing I think we need to do is we should put money where money will result into more money and real happiness. Sometimes real happiness is not about money. Sometimes real happiness is about social protection. Sometimes real money is about social justice. Just the other day, and we've seen it, young people are protesting around, running all over. It should worry you, it should concern you that social protection, social justice in Nairobi, for example, is a low indicator. So there are some of these things which we need to put together, although I admit that it is a fairly complex science, but I think that we need to put our minds into it so that we come to a more reasonable and an agreed formula. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, because I know Daktari knows that I do not have 2/3 to override this motion, I nonetheless leave it in the Hansard that somebody will consider that I, TJ Kajwang, had very, very robust criticism about the formula which is being used. Thank you so much.
The Honorable Dr. James Nyikal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise to actually support the report and this formula. I think it is actually an improvement of the formula that was used before, and I know how much work has been put into it. However, I think it has limitation, Mr. Speaker, because it's basically based on three things: population size, land size,